What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for cooling with Jay as always. So guys, another video. So today we are going to be discussing why I swapped from the V4 Panigale over to the Ducati Streetfighter. And guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I do hope you stay. If you're new, obviously, I please hope that you like, share, and subscribe, as it greatly helps my channel grow. So, as I mentioned from before, I had a 2018 Panigale V4, the base model. I had it for 3 years, and then I swapped, or I traded it in now for the 2021 Ducati V4s Dark Stealth Street Fighter. And of course, this is the custom, because obviously I've done a lot of bits and pieces to it. Alright, so before we get on the ride, I quickly want to go over a few things. One of which is, guys, if you want to know about any of the parts that are done to the bike, that will be in the description. So I've done a little bit of work of listing actually all the parts for the bike. So where I got all the radiator guards, all the custom work, the seat cover, everything is listed, and it has the hyperlink, so you can just click on it and take you straight to the site. Next up, if you didn't already know, guys, I have a promo code with Quad Lock. So if you're in for anything Quad Lock, whether it's a phone case, whether it's for your phone, whether it's for your car, or for your office, guys, anything Quad Lock, use promo code COOLINWITHJAY and save yourself 10% at checkout. So yeah, quickly on Quad Lock, I have a custom. I use 2 of their extenders. This is a custom, I think it's a 45 millimeter screw. I have, of course, the Quad Lock, and I have their dampener, which of course helps with the foam. So that's that part done. Next up, I had a viewer ask me down in the comments section about the radiator guard and the seat cover. So guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments, and if it's a good question, I will try to answer in my next video, so I will give him the shout out now. Boom. And then to kind of explain what his question was. So one of his questions was, why did I go with the Luimoto seat cover? So for those of you who didn't know, I had actually the same cover on my Ducati Panigale V4 to buy one again. The reason being is because obviously this is a sport bike, or a naked bike in this instant, but I wanted to be as comfortable as physically possible. Obviously this is no luxury car, but any additional comfort is obviously a benefit. And reason being is because these come stock with the foam. And as we all know, foam compacts over time and it doesn't rebound. So it just gets firm and gets more uncomfortable as you have longer seat time. So I wanted to get the gel insert, which is in here. So basically I pulled the whole seat off. I sent it to them. They're in Canada. They cut out the foam. They put the seat cover on. They put it back together and sent it back to me. Second reason why is because I wanted to put my social media handles somewhere on the bike. Me personally, I don't like sticking social media handles all over the bike, and stickers mess up the bike. That just, to me, is tacky, me personally. So I wanted something where if somebody's walking around the bike, they can obviously see my social media handles. And that's why I think this is the perfect of best of both worlds. I get a custom seat, I get the gel insert, and of course I get my social media handles. So that's why I went with the Luimoto. Shout out to them. Thank you for all their support, giving me shout outs as well in my video. So definitely appreciate them. If you haven't already, guys, you definitely check them out, as they have a bunch of seat covers for different bikes: cafe racers, sport bikes, street bikes, naked bikes, so on and so forth. So I think I purchased my first seat cover from them right when they were kind of getting into the scene 3 years ago, I think. But yeah, really cool guys. I appreciate them, and I'll be coming out with a full video going over that soon. Next question he asked was about the radiator guard and why I went with EvoTech. Well, truth be told, on my last bike, as I mentioned, I had Cox Racing, because when I got the Ducati Panigale, a bunch of different vendors and people who made products needed to borrow a bike to essentially do their R&D. Luckily for me, Cox Racing is local, so we reached out and said, hey, can I borrow your bike? So I had red radiator guards on my Panigale. For me, this time I just wanted black. I think black radiator guards and black radiator covers completely changed the look of the bike. Those were 2 must-have mods for me. Truth be told, I didn't care if it was EvoTech or anybody else. I personally didn't have a care, so that's probably not the answer you wanted, but that's the truth. I just wanted black radiator guards, and that was essentially my only ask from my dealership on that. So that's why I went with the Evil Tech radiator guards, and obviously they protect your bike from rock chips, which is of course additional benefit. But for me, it was more so of blacking out the bike than it was so the rock chip. I mean, I had my last Panigale for 3 years, never got a rock chip, but again, it's always better to be safe than sorry. So that's why I got that. Oh, I forgot to mention in the last video when I went over all my custom modifications was I went with the Rizoma Vision. So I went with the Rizoma Vision sequential turn signals. I forgot to mention that in my previous video. So there you go. Those are those. Other than that, everything is unchanged. The 10th is my 600-mile service. So on that, I will get more goodies put on. So like I said, guys, I probably got another 8 to 15K worth of stuff left. So like I said, guys, that's why you should stay tuned and make sure you subscribe and hit that bell so you stay up to date on all the future videos of customizing my baby. There we go. Start her up real quick. Like all the black pieces, man, this makes this bike definitely pop. So why I swapped from, of course, the Panigale to the Streetfighter, and there's a lot of reasons, okay? First of which was because when I went on my first group ride, okay, guys, and I pulled up, all right, we're talking, 15, 20 bikes, so a fairly good number of bikes. What I noticed was, I'd say probably 80% of the bikes there were naked bikes or cafe racers, that sort of genre. And it made me wonder, obviously, why. So I was like, why is it that majority of people have naked bikes? So, we go on a bunch of group rides and come back home and I'm feeling it. And one example perfectly was I went to Eugene with my friend, okay? And we left about 8:30 and I got back like 6:30. So it was a long ride, guys. Obviously we stopped for lunch and that sort of thing, but it was definitely a long ride, okay? And when I got home that night, I mean, I was beat. I was beat to crap that night when I got home, and I literally ate and went to sleep. And just so y'all know, for context, I've played multiple sports, so I mean, I was very close to being a professional soccer player back in the day. I played football, I played all sports, baseball, football, basketball, yada yada. I was just an athlete, right? So I'm used to pain, obviously soreness. And to be fair, long bike rides, my body wasn't used to anyway. But the point was that leaning over, just hunched over the bike for that long on a sport bike, afterwards, it just was uncomfortable. Like I said, it was just, it wasn't, it was, obviously it was a great ride. And that's where I hit one of my higher speed runs. So it was a fun ride, but my body didn't like it. So what I started thinking was, okay, is there a way where I can get up, have the best of both worlds, right? And that's kind of the point, right? I wanted the best of both worlds. I wanted to be able to, obviously go for a ride. And I also wanted to be able to, have a bike that was comfortable as well. And so after that, I started thinking about this, right? And then we went on multiple more rides, and again, kind of the same thing. And what I realized was the guys who were on the cruisers, the cafe racers, the Harleys, all of them, they were fine after these rides. So I'm like, man, I'm missing out on something. So that's when I started thinking about it. And what's funny is I'm talking about, so when last year, okay, when I did my first impressions video of the Streetfighter, I'll put that video up above. What was interesting is I'm talking about a few yards, right? I'm talking about, 10 yards. I'm pulling out of the parking lot from the dealership to the stop sign. We're talking, like I said, 10 yards. And I instantly could already tell I was going to love it. you know, for that feeling of, again, more upright, more comfortability, and that sort of thing. And that's what really drew me to the Street Fighter. Truthfully, the looks, when I first saw it, I was like, meh. You know, they weren't bad. They just weren't, you know, great either. Look at this guy. They weren't bad, they just weren't great. So I wanted something. That's funny. That's a nice helmet, I must say. I like that helmet. Black with the, it almost looks like my helmet almost. I'm not saying people don't want sport bikes. I'm just saying the draw to the naked bike is a very interesting thing. Alright, let's get going. The draw is an interesting thing. That's what I realized. And I was like, dude, I need to be a part of this. I need to get on this train. And then, if you think about it, right, I'm not saying sport bikes are bad, right? I don't want to get that twisted. I don't want to say sport bikes are bad. What I want to say is that if you think about it, right, if you're in your 20s-ish, you know, I'd say even maybe 30s, you know, obviously there's an appeal to a sport bike, which is why I started off on a Panigale. But at the same time, what I realized is it's not good for commuting. And that's the next thing, guys, for commuting, like stuff like this. You know, I just came back from the gym. I do like to just, you know, hop on the bike, go for a nice ride, and go to the gym and come home. Nothing crazy, not breaking no lane speed records, just having a nice cruise and go home and call it a day. And I'm not saying the Panigale can't do an everyday commuter. That's not what I'm saying, right? I'm not saying it can't commute. I'm just saying the comfortability of that commute is going to be a lot more. And the other thing, guys, you got to think about is it invokes you to go fast. If you think about it, right? Because you're leaned over, you're hunched over, you're at stoplights. Everybody wants you to go fast. Everybody wants you to go fast. Everybody wants you to speed. Everybody wants to see you do a wheelie. Like, they want all these things from you because, again, it's a race bike for the road. There's nothing wrong with having that, but like I said, at the same time, is that good for every day? And I wanted something I could have that was a hybrid, that was good for every day, you know, riding, commuting, having fun on, and then on the weekends, occasionally, I take it out and rip. That's what I wanted. And this bike does that and then some. Because if you think about it, bro, I'm down on power, let's say, I don't know, 5 horsepower, right? So I lose some top end and have more torque. But, I mean, in 3 years, I've maybe gone over the speed, you know, like that high 3 or 4 times in 4 years. So it's not like having that is, you know, a mandate or something that you're going to use all the time. If you think about it, right, most of your speeding, let's just call it what it is, right, spade to spade. Most of your speeding is going to be probably from 80 to 120 and back down again, right? It's going to be most of your fast stuff, right? So if most of your fast stuff is in that 80 to 120 range, this bike will do 98% of what the Panigale is. So if you're able to blindfold yourself, right, and hop on both bikes and do a throttle pull from 80 to 120 on both bikes, it would be a very minuscule difference, minus the wind in your face. You would obviously feel that, but other than that, it'd be the same thing. So it's a hard argument for why not just have a Street Fighter. Why have a sport bike? You know, and I'm not saying there isn't an appeal for the attraction. And again, that's why I think the sport bikes have an appeal, is for the attraction. But if you think about it, right, what do Ducati guys get crap for, right? Cars and coffee and Starbucks. So they're not really on them. They not really ride them. Think about it. They're not riding 6-7 hours on these bikes. They're riding 1 or 2 hours, going to cars and coffee and putting home. Maybe a few little lanes here and there. majority of them, like myself, got, you know, some decent chicken strips. So you're not doing a whole lot, but you're also uncomfortable. And see, that's the hard sell for me. So if you're not going to be on it in the twisties, if you're just going to be cruising around to Starbucks and cars and coffee, and then also feel a little back pain when you get home, then why not get a Street Fighter and do the exact same thing? Oh, that's right. Because Street Fighter doesn't look as sexy or as cool when you pull up the cars and coffee, right? Everybody wants to see the SP and the Superleggera and the BMW S1000 double RM and, you know, all the high-end spec, full fairing looking race bikes. That's what all the kids drool over. But as you get older, you realize it's about something that looks good and you have fun on and comfortable on. And that's the Street Fighter, guys. And that's why, for me, it was a no-brainer on the Switch. Because it's the best of all three, or I guess all three. It looks good enough. It's not like it's terrible. There are definitely uglier naked bikes, for sure. Is it the most beautiful, like, you know, sleek, elegant lines and all of that? No. But I think definitely the black helps because of, you know, the wings sticking out. The black on black kind of helps to hide its angles, because the red with the black, it definitely sticks out more, whereas the black on black kind of makes all the wings and stuff seem seamless. And I think that's what helps the Street Fighter to look better. Me personally, is to have it in the black versus the red for that reason. Or you'd have to get matching red wings, which again I think looks weird. So I think the wings belong in black, but again it's more of an intrusion when you have red on the contrast black. When you just have black on black, that's again a part of the full bike. So that's why I think the all black look looks much better. Again, that's my opinion of it. So, and again, I think it really comes down to looks, you know. But if you're looking at it from a sheer performance standpoint of the bike, it's again, that's why I'm saying it's hard to make an argument for the bike. It's hard to make an argument why you wouldn't want the Street Fighter over the Panigale, and, you know, cheaper in cost for the most part. Take your sport bike and go on an 8-hour ride. Like, go on a real ride with your bike. Find a group of friends and go on a real commute. Go on a real ride. Not a little 1-2 hour baby crap. Go on a real ride. And then tell me how you feel afterwards. Because I guarantee you, it's going to feel a little uncomfortable when you get off that thing. Like, guys, see, this thing can go. Like, that's the thing. Like, don't be fooled by its appearance. Like, this thing can go. So when people say, you know, about a naked bike, it's like, well, these things aren't turtles, you know. Like, they have some get. I mean, that's 6 figures, you know, 6 figures. That's 3 figures right there. That's twice. So, and again, that's probably 40% throttle. So they got some bunnies to it. So, but anyway, guys, that's what I'm saying. Like, those pulls I just did, and again, mine's still in break-in phase. So imagine when it's out of break-in phase where I can get into the higher rev range where all the torque is. Like, you're not going to be complaining about power or torque on a naked bike. Now, there's a rumor that Ducati's making the V2 version of this bike. So that might be a little down on power, but you save it in price. So with that being said, you know, like I was saying, there are obviously slow naked bikes, but this is not one of them. So you will still get all the performance, everything you need, less price, more practicality, more better use every day. And that's kind of It's kind of my take on that. Anyway, guys, as always, thank you for cooling with Jay. And like I say, if you haven't already, man, hit that bell, subscribe, and stay up to date on all my content. Like I said, man, that greatly helps me grow. So, with that being said, thank you for cooling with Jay, and I'll see you on the next video.